Jewells68 here for Talk to Me Tuesday on Tuesday, March 18th. I'd like to say a very happy birthday to my sister Jan if she happens to see this. And I'm really glad that you liked your pillowcases. First on the agenda, birthday blocks. So, birthday blocks, we have two birthdays. The birthday blocks swap on LiveJournal. We have two birthdays in the month of March. And the first one was, I believe, this past Saturday. I am in the process of making those blocks, and I have the first one done. And Jen will recognize this pattern. This is her two-tone star, I believe is the name of the pattern. And the swapper wanted her blocks in red, white, and blue, and she wanted a star. So, there you go. My second block for her, I just barely started. I only have one little segment done. And it is not, surprise, surprise, a pattern from Sew Hooked. It's actually, this is the first time I've ever heard of this blog, but the website is 627handworks.com. And the block is from a Block Rockin' Block of the Week that apparently was done on this website at some point. And it is called Mercury, and so I'm doing that one. So I will show you the finished one when I'm done. Next would be Project Linus. I don't have really a whole lot of progress to show you on my current Afghan. I'm still in the process of weaving in the ends on the granny square blanket, and I have another one that I have in progress that I just kind of barely am on the second row. But we have a, my hair is bugging me, sorry, still damp. We have a annual social for all of the different groups that make up the full Albuquerque chapter of Project Linus. And I've never gotten to go, but this year I think I'm going to be able to go because it's not the same week of the month that it normally is in April. So it's actually towards the end of April. And I believe. I'll have to double check that. But anyway, there's always this thing that's like a free-for-all, is what they call it. People, they take stuff that's been donated to Project Linus, or people donate stuff from their own stash, supplies and things, and they set them up in tables, sort of like at a swap or whatever, but it's basically just first come, first serve. You know, everybody's supposed to come and get what they want. And I decided that would be the perfect opportunity to donate some of these donated granny squares that were crocheted granny squares that were donated to Project Linus. So I have in this bag right here what I'm designating as granny blanket Project Linus blanket kits. That I have put together colors, such as this one is white, sort of a harvest gold and navy for a boy. And this one is like a kind of an apricot, a pale yellow, and like a sort of pale blue and white. And each one I have labeled already 36 granny squares. And this one is 30 granny squares. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kits that I'm going to donate. And, I mean, they were donated to the Project Linus anyway, so I think this will be good. I'm hoping that this will make them attractive enough that people will take them. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a blank index card, because I have a big stack of those, and I'm going to, you know how at the store they have like a cardboard thing over the top of the bag that has the hole in it that goes on the pegboard? I hope I'm like making sense, but anyway, and it kind of is what holds the package together when you buy things that are in a package like that. I'm going to fold the index card over, and I'm going to write on there, Project Linus blanket kit, boy, Project Linus blanket kit, girl, Project Linus blanket kit, unisex. And then I'm going to fold it over, and I'm going to staple it over the tops of these bags to hopefully deter some of the ladies from opening the bags and just taking some of the squares out. So that's that. What else? It's been 5 minutes. I got to keep track of my time because my camera likes to shut itself off. Oh, so my niece, some of you may remember if you were watching videos like 2 years ago, my niece, 2.5 years ago, my niece was having her first baby. And I did a quilt for her first baby, and this is my great nephew. And I knew it was a boy, and she kept calling him her little monkey or whatever, so I did this monkey-themed quilt. Then I ended up having to have shoulder surgery, and the baby came early. So the baby came 2 months early, and was in intensive care, and I had shoulder surgery, and I really wanted to get the blanket done, but I couldn't get it done, and Jen came to my rescue yet again, and she finished it for me and mailed it on to my niece, so that she could have it while the baby was still a baby. And anyway, she is going to have her second, and we just found out it's a little girl. It's going to be a baby girl. So I am obviously going to make it a quilt, right? But because if Ollie got a quilt, then this little girl needs a quilt. But something I had talked with Jen before about was that I knew she was having a baby, but we didn't know what it was going to be. And when I was going through my mom's stuff after she passed away, I was going through all of her sewing supplies, and I found bags of fabric, quilting fabric, cotton quilting fabric. And so I took some of them, and I set them aside, ones that I thought would work well in a baby quilt. And I set them aside, and I thought, there's stuff that I could put together for a boy, and there's stuff that I could put together for a girl. So once I know what, whether it's a boy or a girl, because I knew they were going to find out early, I can make a quilt. So I thought it would be really cool to have at least the quilt top, or focus fabrics on the quilt top, be from my mom's stash. So I thought, if I used fabric from my mom's stash, that would kind of be a way of her having a part in this baby gift and in the baby's life. And I thought that would be kind of cool. So these are the fabrics that I pulled out of the stash. And there's a bunch of these little, they're already cut into squares, and I think I know what my mom was going to use these for, but they just never got used. And there's all of these, there's quite a few of these 4-inch squares. And then there's this lone one right here, so I don't know if that'll get used or not. And then there's a bunch more 4-inch squares of just pink. And then there's this purple yardage, which I think might be, it's split up maybe into 2 like 1/4 yard cuts. Something like that. But I thought that would be good to coordinate with the pink, because this has purple in it right here. Isn't that pretty? And then these are just some other random colors that were in there. And then there's these. I'm not sure what I'll use these for. But anyway. So the plan is figure out what pattern I want to do for the top and start piecing the top out of Mom's quilting squares, and then figure it out from there. And then I'll let her know that it's a gift from me, and it's also a gift from the great aunt, me, and it's also a gift from great grandma Thornton. So on that note, I'm going to let you go. I'm at 9 minutes, and the camera's probably about to shut off. Okay, I almost forgot. I have a PSA. The more you know. Okay, I have a PSA for you. So when I was working on Greg's Get Well quilt, I was using a Sewline ceramic pencil, which I love to use for transferring like embroidery designs onto fabric. And I had used my Sewline ceramic pencil to do the grid, the little squares, on the autograph squares for Greg's quilt. And not thinking that after they were autographed, I had to heat set the autographs. Once I heat set the autographs, I also heat set, apparently, the pencil, because it would not wash out. And I didn't find that out, obviously, until after the quilt was quilted and bound and everything, and I washed it. Thankfully, the color that I used, the color of Sewline pencil I used, was the teal kind of green color, and it matched the green that was in some of the fabric on the quilt. So I think it was much more noticeable to me than to anybody else. And I quilted with white thread, and if I had realized that that green wasn't going to go away, I would have used a colored thread. So that's my PSA. If you're using a Sewline pencil to transfer or to mark your quilting lines or anything like that, do not iron it if you want it to wash off. If it's in a place where it doesn't matter whether it washes off or not, go for it. But beware that it becomes permanent when you iron it. So that's my PSA for this week. I hope everybody has a great week. I look forward to watching your videos, and I will see you next week. Bye!